Hello everyone and welcome to Cinderful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the grey. Today's video, we're going to talk start collecting Warhammer Age of Sigmar, and today we're going to take a look at the Ironjawz and how we can build up an Ironjawz force, making use of the Regiment of Renown for Destruction, Big Grikk's Kruelboys. Now we're going to go through a couple of Ironjawz box sets, including the start collecting Ironjawz and one other character model, and then take a look as well at Big Grikk's Kruelboys, the Regiment of Renown box set for Destruction, and we'll take a look at the end of the video, putting this all together in a 1000-point army list to hopefully give you some inspiration for using this Regiment of Renown in your Ironjawz force. And so, with that said, let's get talking about the start collecting Ironjawz, the first box set we're going to talk about in this video. Now, leading this box set is a Orruk warchanter. Orruk warchanters are a really fun character. They've got a variety of different abilities they can choose from, called their war beats. These are sort of like prayers, sort of like magic, but neither. They don't cause any wounds back to you when you fail them or anything like that. You know, they are just really, really cool. Now, what happens with them is you get to pick one of them for each warchanter in your force. This can be the Fix and Beat, which is a healing one. Get and Beat allows you to make 3d6 charges, or the Killer Bleat can give you +1 to hit, but you actually target an enemy unit, and all your units targeting that enemy unit will get +1 to hit, so really, really useful. Now on top of that, you also have Violent Fury, where in your hero phase you can pick a friendly Ironjawz unit within 15 inch of this unit, and until your next hero phase you add 1 to the damage inflicted by attacks made by those models. So +1 damage is just a really, really powerful buff. Anyone who's played Age of Sigmar over the last season knows that, you know, bounty hunters really did go up trumps with that +1 damage. Now, joining the warchanter here, we have the Orruk ardboys. These are effectively your most Moltenous units, or Moltenous model unit. They come in 5 models per unit you take them, but they generally can be used in larger units. They're the cheapest option you have available. A 4-up save with 2 wounds. You can get some Orc Forged shields in the unit to get a ward save of 6+. A cool thing is if this unit's champion issues a rally command to this unit while they're held within 12 inch of a friendly warchanter, they'll return models on a 4-up rather than 6-up. And they've also got the option for their standard bearers as well to add 1 to their bravery. Their wild dramas will give you 1 bonus inch to your charge rolls, and the champion will also get an extra attack, which will lead them to having 4 attacks at force 3s, no rend damage 1, remembering the rest of the unit will have 3 attacks on the same profile. Now, last unit in here are Orruk gore-gruntas. These are a non-battle line unit, though they can become battle line in a few different ways within your force, but they have 2 different main weapon options, either the Jagged Gore Hacker, 3 attacks, 3s and 3s, rend 2, damage 1, or the Pig Iron Chopper with 4 attacks, 3 3s, rend 1, damage 1. Now, you've got the gore-grunta charge rule on them as well. This is going to allow them to do some mortal wounds when they finish a charge into an enemy unit. Other than that, 5 wounds, 4-up save. These are a much faster unit with 9 inch generally than the rest of your Orruks in your force. We then have the Weirdnob shaman, another option, another character available to the Ironjawz, and the reason I like bringing this model to the table is for one of the spells you get access to with this model through the Ironjawz lore, and that is the Hand of Gork. This is just a teleportation spell, can be super, super useful. Also, this model is a really fun model. It's got so many cool things, really fun to paint and put together. Now, on top of that, though, he does have his Green Puke, which is a spell that has a casting value of 6 and a range of 2d6, and it will do some mortal wounds. He's also got the Brutal Power rule, where if this unit is within 12 inch of 10 or more other friendly Ironjawz models, then at the end of your hero phase, he can attempt to cast Green Puke spell in addition to any other spells it casts, and even if a wizard has already attempted to cast Green Puke as well during that turn. So you can get out some extra mortal wounds with it, which is super fun. And so another unit to look at, in addition to that start collecting and character, are the Orruk Brutes. I think these are a fantastic battle line option. They're definitely coming out of the shadow of other unit options in this current season. I really love their rule, which is Duff Up the Big Thing. You add 1 to hit rolls if they're fighting anything with 4 or more wounds. And also, You Messin is really fun. So if they're fighting enemy models with wounds characteristic of 1, so anything smaller than them, they're going to stop those units being able to contest objectives if they're within 3 inch of them. Other than that, you've got a variety of high rend, good damage weaponry with lots of damage 2, lots of rend 2 available to the unit, so they can do plenty of the crumpin'. And so, lastly, we have Big Grikk's Cruel Shots. Now, this is going to contain a bestial killbow and the 6-man skill boys that make up this particular Regiment of Renown. Now, there is a couple of little additional things to note, is that we're going to gain the hero keyword on Big Grikk, which is the bestial killbow. This is going to allow it to work with the battalions and everything it needs to. Now, the cool things we get with this Regiment of Renown, rules-wise, are we have the toxin-laden skills, which effectively is going to allow us to do mortal wounds equal to the damage characteristic of the weapon when we roll a 6 to hit. This is just bringing the kruelboys' allegiance ability straight with them along to any force they join. But in addition, skewer it again, if the bestial killbow, Big Grikk himself, targets an enemy model that causes some wounds and they're not negated, you'll be able to add one to the attacks characteristic of any man-skill boys still shooting at that same target. Now, speaking of the units, the bestial killbow has a couple of different firing options. It can either have a hasty shot or an aim shot. Both of these will be at different ranges. But, you know, you've got your shorter range here. You aim shot at 24 inch, one shot, 2s, 3s, rend 2. But you also have a few other rules. Now, you've got the pick 'em off rule, where when this unit attacks with a bestial killbow bolts, use the aim shot missile weapon characteristic if it did not make a normal move. Otherwise, you must use the hasty shot rule. Now, to determine the damage characteristic for the attack made with a bestial bolt, you roll a number of dice equal to the wounds characteristic of the target unit. The damage is equal to 2 plus 1 for each, 5 plus, up to a maximum damage of 12, which means, you know, you can, if you roll a 6 to hit with this, it just does 12 mortal wounds potentially to someone. Now, the man-skill boys are very, very similar to this. They've got 2 different firing profiles that they're going to have access to. These are going to be hasty and aim shot once again. They get more shots with hasty, though they're harder to hit. But really, you are just trying to trigger those mortal wounds on them. So that's really what you're going to try and do, is roll those 6 to hit. It's almost always worth trying to move and get those extra shots, because you're just going to aim for those 6s to hit. And so here we have our sample army list. Now we've gone for playing in the Iron Suns sub-faction. What this one is going to do is it gives you an extra command ability that allows you to charge your units in the enemy charge phase, which is really cool. This can disrupt your enemy's plans, but most importantly, what I like for it in this one is it can protect Big Grikk's kruelboys. It can allow you, if your shooting units get charged, to charge in one of your Ironjawz units and help out your little allies. And so we've then got our Orruk Weirdnob shaman, who's going to be our general, and he's going to have the command trait Touched by the War. This allows him to inflict D3 mortal wounds on a nearby unit, but then he gets that bonus of how many mortal wounds he inflicted to his casting rolls. We've got an artifact on him called the Griff Feather Charge, which is one of the Galatian champion artifacts at the moment for a 5-up ward. And then Law of the Weird, giving him a great big green Hand of Gork, an awesome teleport. Now, to go with this teleport on this, if we're teleporting one of our units like the Brutes or the Ardboys across the table, we've then gone the Orruk warchanter to have the aspect of the champion Tunnel Master, which will give him a teleport as well, allowing him to teleport and still buff the unit and stick around them when they're going into combat. Now, he's also got the Get 'em Beat, which is going to allow him to give some rerolls out to friendly units, which is really fun. This is just going to allow him, with Tunnel Master, to go around and support a unit that needs that support. You know, you might not necessarily need it straight away, but having a character nearby for that extended range and for those other abilities is super important. Battleline wise, we have 10 Orruk ardboys, the unit's been reinforced once, and a unit of 5 Orruk brutes. And then we've also got 3 Orruk gore-gruntas in there, and then Big Grikk's cruel shots to round out the force. And then everything is wrapped up in a battle regiment or the Regiment of Renown, meaning we are a 2-drop force with a perfect 1,000 points. And so that's the end of the video. We hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you'd like to come chat more with me and other members of our fantastic little community here, we have a Discord server which is linked down in the video's description. Also linked down in the video's description are the best ways to help support the channel. If you would like to, you can do so either by YouTube members or Patreon, or by grabbing yourself some merch at Teespring or at our Ko-fi store. All of them are linked down in the video description. As a special thank you to our Patreons and YouTube members, we'd like to give you all the shout out. So thank you to our Patreons: Christian Weir, Soren, Kenny Lowe, Outer and Shot First, Andrew Bowen, The Rising Ape, Q Dynamic, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domir, Mark Harvey, James Cater, Benjamin Swallers, Redmine, Iron Grinch, Nicholas Colomos, Colorblind Magic, Grimscold, and Andy C. And to our YouTube members: Green Rich Gaming, Ronya, Lock Lorick, The Johnny84, David Ellsworth, Wolfric Nick, Baroque Chef, Ariana Edwards, Revenar, Pink Nico Fire, Robin Mankiller, Monty's Tabletop Terrain, John Castle, Davis Weird, James Tillman, Gargamel196, and Disco. Lastly, a special thanks, first of all, to Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing art for the channel, everyone who helps come and provide the games for everyone to watch on the channel as well, and indeed all our fantastic mods and members of the community who keep our Discord and comment section a fantastic place for all to be. Thank you all once again, everyone. Stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the grey. Ciao for now.